In this video, I'm going to be teaching you how to stream on Twitch, and this is a huge topic that has a lot of stuff involved, so we're going to try to cover it as best we can in an overview fashion so that if you don't know what you're doing and you've never streamed before, you have no idea what goes into it, this video is for you. Now, if you already are a streamer, but you're looking for some extra tidbits, some tips, some tricks, you will find those throughout this video as well. So hopefully this video will be applicable no matter what position or what place you're in with your streaming journey. But with that being said, let's jump in and take a look at how to stream on Twitch. Now, to give you a little bit of background on me, my name is Garrett and I stream full-time on Twitch, and I've been streaming on Twitch for almost 6 years at this point. So I've learned a lot of stuff over the years, and because it's what I do as my full-time job, basically, I'm in it every day. And so there's a lot of stuff that I've learned that kind of seems second nature, but if you're starting out on Twitch, this is all stuff that I did not know, or at least a lot of it was. And so it helped me a ton to be able to go and watch other videos of people explaining this, and so hopefully this video will do the same thing for you. Now, with that being said, I want to preface this entire video by saying this is an overview. I've got a bunch of other videos on my YouTube channel, as well as many other creators do, going into depth about each one of these topics, but this is to give you a starting point, an idea of what all is involved. Now, I also want to say this. We have grouped everything. It's a huge topic, but I've grouped everything into 5 major categories. Those categories that we're going to be talking about in this video are your branding, equipment, online streaming tools, content strategy, and schedule. And there's a lot that's going to fall under each one of those categories, so we're going to dive in and try to knock out each one as quickly as we can and as concisely as possible. The other thing that I want to say is that if you are getting into streaming, you need to decide how serious you are about streaming. So if you're somebody that wants to do it for fun, you don't care about growth, you don't care about numbers or anything like that, then this will still give you the base knowledge of how to start streaming, but it's going to be a little bit more focused on people who do actually want to take it seriously and give it the best shot, right? Try to grow a community, try to grow a stream and see where all it can go. Either camp though, you're going to find some useful tips. Now, to start this entire video off that is talking about becoming a Twitch streamer or how to stream on Twitch, I'm going to tell you something that you probably don't want to hear. And that is the fact that you cannot be just a Twitch streamer anymore. And this is something that, those days are over. It's something that people have been talking about for a while, but it is no longer viable if you're wanting to grow and potentially do this as a career path at some point. It's something that you need to understand. Becoming a Twitch streamer is not actually about becoming a Twitch streamer. It's about becoming a content creator. Twitch is one of your outlets for creating content, and it could be your primary outlet. But the reality is that just streaming on Twitch is not going to cut it, or at least in the majority of cases. There's always that random rare situation where somebody jumps in, starts streaming, and they blow up for whatever reason, and they don't really do much else in the way of content, but those days are pretty much over. For the mass majority, 99.99% of people, you're gonna have to put in some work as a content creator and not just a streamer. So you've got to get that in your mind right now. If you're in it for just the streaming part, but you want to take it seriously, it's not enough to just stream on Twitch because it's too hard to grow. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more here in just a little while when we talk about content strategy. But you got to start thinking that way. It's about becoming a content creator and not just a streamer. There's many different types of ways to do this, and you can still be, like I am, a primary streamer as far as my content is concerned, but I'm also making this YouTube video talking about streaming with you guys. So if you can't tell already, I'm in multiple facets of content creation and not just streaming itself. Something to grasp onto now because it's massively important if you want to succeed. Now, for the first category, we're talking about branding. And branding has a couple of different elements that go into it. The first thing you want to do is figure out the type of content you want to create. Are you jumping in trying to create content about art? Are you jumping in for gaming? Are you jumping in for music? Or is there some other, is it a just chatting? Is it a podcast? What type of stream do you want to have? Primarily, it doesn't mean you can't, go into some of these different areas and test them out, try them out. But you need to kind of decide what type of streamer you want to be or what you're going to initially start with. You can change it later down the road. That does get a little bit harder, but what is your purpose? Figure that out first. Once you figure that out, you need to figure out what your name is going to be. Now, a lot of people will jump onto Twitch and they'll just come up with whatever name. They don't care if they have underscores. They don't care if they have, numbers in their name or symbols or things like that. But that is the wrong approach. If you're taking this seriously, you want to figure out a name that's going to be easy to remember, is spelled in a normal way, and is something that is unique to you. Figuring out what kind of content you want to create will help you figure out what your name should be. But also, whenever you're picking out a name, try to have some type of personal spin on the name, something that is a unique identifier to who you are or your personality. Once you pick out your name, you're going to need to pick out a look for your stream. How are you going to set it up? What are your 2 or 3 base colors of your design elements, of all of your graphics and things like that? What colors are your favorite colors? Do you want to implement that on your stream? Start thinking about some of that stuff as well. Because again, when you're putting together a stream, you got to be thinking from a marketing standpoint. When people are going to watch your stream or come to your stream, the better the branding, the better the marketing, the more professional it seems, the easier it's going to be for people to just focus on you and the content and not be distracted by if your stream just looks unprofessional or if you look like a noob. And if you are a noob, it's okay. But if you look professional, people will overlook that a little bit and just say, well, this guy's just new, he's getting started out. But if your graphics are all over the place and your colors aren't matching and things like that, that's just not going to be the greatest first impression. So think about that as well. Now, the last major part of branding that we're going to talk about in this overview is your logo and graphics. Now, this is also a good place to talk about the sponsor of this video, because they happen to be one of the best places to get graphics for your stream, and that is Placeit.net. Now, Placeit has overlays that you can use for OBS, which we're going to talk about here in just a little bit. They've got the ability for you to make your logo right there on their website and customize it with your name, with the colors that you pick out, things like that. But Placeit also has all kinds of graphics for animations. They've got ending screens for your YouTube videos. I mean, you can make banners, whatever you want to do for your stream, Placeit is going to have you covered. So I highly encourage you guys to go check out Placeit.net. I'm going to have a link in the description of this video that will not only take you over to Placeit, but you can save an additional 15% off. So make sure you use that link. You will get a discount. It's super affordable. And if you're starting out in the streaming journey and you're taking it even somewhat seriously, then getting good graphics initially is going to be huge, and it's worth the little investment. So I want to send you guys over there, but also talk about the fact that when you are creating your graphics and your brand, you want to make sure that you are doing something that is going to be cohesive across your site, right? So when you come up with a logo, the logo needs to be something that is going to basically be a mascot for you. Eventually, you're going to be able to put this on merchandise, which is down the road a little bit. You don't need to start out with merch now, but if you have a logo, it's going to be a great way to represent yourself, not only on your banners, but maybe a profile picture if you want to use your logo for your profile picture, things like that. Now, moving on from branding, let's say you've got your name picked out, you've got your brand picked out, all that sort of thing. The next thing that you have to move into is the equipment section of streaming. And equipment is one of the biggest, most daunting tasks, because there's a lot of little working pieces that you're going to need to pull together in order to start a stream on Twitch. Now, the first thing that you're going to need is a PC. Now, it is possible, and we're not going to talk about it in this video as much, but it is possible to stream from a console alone and even have dedicated graphics and things like that. But that is a whole different video. What we're going to be talking about is the most efficient and professional way to stream, which is doing it through a PC. Not only will this give you more flexibility and functionality in your stream, it'll allow you to have all kinds of alerts and overlays and things like that. It's going to be much easier to do it this way. So the first thing you're going to need is a PC. To start out. The second thing that I want to recommend is if you have a PC, whether it's a laptop or a desktop, once you get your PC acquired, you're going to need to eventually get 2 monitors. Now, you don't have to start with 2 monitors. You can start with 1 monitor, but because this is an interactive thing, streaming is interactive, you're going to be talking to your community, 2 monitors is going to help you out a ton. Everybody who goes to 2 monitors cannot talk enough about how much that improved the quality of just streaming in general. It's going to be frustrating if you only have 1. So initially starting out, if you don't have a big budget, you can go with 1 monitor, and you can look at your phone or a tablet or something like that to read the chat. But you do need to have the chat pulled up when you start out streaming. It's one of the biggest aspects. Interaction between you and the people in your chat on Twitch it's one of the biggest aspects of streaming that there is. So if it's not a separate monitor itself, phone will work, tablet will work, but do something to have another screen separate from the screen that you're playing the game on. Now, if you're streaming from a console, you still will need a PC to be able to stream the most effective and efficient way possible. Like I said, it is possible to start streaming today with only a console, but I still recommend having a PC or a laptop that you can run your console into and then push out the stream from there. If you don't have a very powerful computer, then I do recommend starting out on console and then running that console into whatever PC you're using to stream. That will allow your streaming PC to only stream out your video. That's all it's going to be doing. And then all the gameplay and the processing for that game are going to be happening on your console. This is the easiest way to have the most effective stream possible for the least amount of money, especially if you already have a console. Now, if you don't, getting a gaming PC is going to be one of the best ways to do this, because not only can you stream from a gaming PC, but you can game at the same time. The big difference between regular PCs and gaming PCs, by the way, is the fact that a gaming PC will have a dedicated graphics card. So be thinking about that. That's a term you need to know. A dedicated graphics card means that your PC can run a game at, you know, the best graphics that graphics card can run and not have to use integrated graphics. You do not want to buy a PC with integrated graphics only, because those do not play games as well, and it's going to be a lot more taxing on that type of computer if you're trying to play a game and stream at the same time. So dedicated graphics card in the PC, that's what you want to look for. Now, another thing you're going to need to know about is if you choose to stream from a console into a PC, you're going to need something called a capture card. Now, Elgato makes a lot of different good capture card options, as well as some other companies. One is called Avermedia, the other one is called Narvatech, and a bunch of others. I'll have some linked in the description of this video. All this equipment that we're talking about, I'm going to put together in a giant, basically Amazon list, and you can go and check out all the equipment that I recommend. That will be linked down in the description of this video as well. But you're going to need a capture card if you stream from a console into a PC, so keep that in mind as well. It's something that basically allows you to plug your console into and then plug that into your computer and send the video signal to the computer. That's what a capture card is. So you're going to need one of those to run your console. If you're doing just a single PC stream and you're going to be gaming on the same PC that you're streaming from, you will not need this, at least not initially. If you ever go with a 2 PC stream setup, which is something you won't need to start out, then you will eventually need a capture card anyway. But from a single PC, this is something that you can skip. It's the console that will require the capture card. Now, once you have that set up, you're going to need a program called OBS, or Open Broadcast Software. This is probably one of the best, if not the best, broadcasting softwares on the internet, and it is completely free. It's open source, so it's constantly being developed, and it's a free program. It's a free software, so you don't have to pay anything for it. There's no subscription fee for it, but OBS is what's going to allow you to send your stream out to the internet, to Twitch in this case. You're going to need to download this onto your computer. Once you have downloaded OBS, you're going to need to set up OBS. Now, I have a basic beginning guide to setting up OBS right up here at the top of this video, so if you want to check that out, it will teach you all the base levels of getting set up with your scenes and your overlays and stuff like that. Check out that video, but OBS is what you're going to need. That's what's going to capture your webcam, your microphone, and all these other things, including your game, and put them all into one place, and then let you put graphics on top of it and let you have alerts and all that sort of thing. So OBS, there's going to be a link for that down in the description of this video as well. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is one of the most important aspects of any stream, and that is your audio. If you have good audio, people will want to stick around, interact with you, and hear what you have to say. But if you have bad audio, nobody's going to want to stick around and nobody's going to want to talk, because they might not even be able to hear you that well. So the biggest part of this entire aspect of audio that you're going to need to decide on is a microphone. And there's a bunch of different options out there, too many to name in this video. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that you need to consider when looking for a microphone. The first thing is, do you want an XLR microphone or a USB microphone? Now, to give you an idea of the difference between these two mics, an XLR microphone is like the one that you're hearing me talk in right now, but it costs a lot more more than a USB microphone. Plus, you're going to need not only the microphone, but an XLR cable. You're going to need an interface to run the microphone into, and then that interface will run into your computer. Whereas a USB microphone will run directly from the microphone right into your computer without anything in between. USB microphones not only sound fantastic, but they're way more cost effective. And if you're getting into streaming for the first time, I really recommend you look for a USB microphone that will meet your needs rather than going with an XLR, because unless you're, an audiophile and you already have some of this stuff, or you know what I'm talking about, it's just not worth the extra cost if you're just trying to decide whether you even like streaming. So go with a USB microphone. That's what I started out with, and that literally was what I used for probably the first year and a half of streaming, and it worked great. There's going to be a whole bunch of different mics on the market, so I'm going to put some of my favorites in a list, as well as all the stuff that we talk about in this video, equipment wise. I'm going to put all of that in a list on Amazon that you can find down in the description of this video. But I'll tell you right now that I do recommend some of the Elgato mics, the Beacon mic. There's a few other microphones that I'll have on that list in different price ranges, but I encourage you to check out that list and purchase off of there. It is an Amazon affiliate link, so if you want to support this stream and you check out that list and you find something that you like, it will support what we're doing here, and it won't cost you anything extra, but it's just another way to help support what I'm doing here on this channel. Now, once you figure out whether you want to go with an XLR microphone or a USB microphone, the next thing you need to know is that there are two basic or primary types of mics. The first one is a condenser microphone, and the second one is a dynamic microphone. And simply put, a condenser microphone is going to pick up more of the space that you're in. If there's reverberation off of your walls, or your room is really echoey, let's say you have an air conditioner in the window, something like that, a condenser microphone is going to pick those sounds up much easier, but it also sounds a little bit more natural for your voice and has a more of a crisp, clean tone to it. Whereas a dynamic microphone is designed to block out noises other than your voice. It's really focused on picking up what's in front of the microphone and then trying to block out background noise as best it can. So for instance, I have an air conditioner in my room. It gets really hot because I've got two computers in here. And when I stream, I'll turn that air conditioner on, but because I have a dynamic microphone, it helps cut out a lot of that noise. And then you use things like noise gates and that sort of thing to cut out the rest of it. But I will tell you, for streamers, I recommend starting out, if you don't know what to go with, look at dynamic microphones first. It's what a lot of radio stations use and a lot of podcasters use, because it just is a more practical option if you're doing something in an environment that's going to have any other sounds in it, or is not treated with, acoustic paneling and things like that. So check out dynamic microphones. But if you prefer to have a little bit more of the room picked up, if you want something where you can walk across the room or walk around a lot and it's still going to hear you, then a condenser microphone may be the way to go. And I started out with a condenser microphone myself, and it still worked great. I didn't have too many issues. So you could go either way, but that's some things to think about and know whenever you get into picking out what kind of microphone you want to use. After you get your audio all sorted out, the next thing you have to look at is video. And you're going to have two different basic options for video: either a webcam or a DSLR camera. Now, again, if you're starting out in streaming, I'm going to recommend the webcam. DSLR cameras are more advanced. They're more professional feature. I'm using a DSLR right now, but I didn't start out with this. I started out with a webcam. And I encourage you to do the same thing, because if you're starting out in streaming or you're early in the streaming journey, you need to figure out whether you actually like streaming before you drop a ton of money on gear. In fact, you probably should not even buy more gear for your stream other than the base level stuff until your stream actually starts picking up, and maybe you have a little bit of support coming in that helps you upgrade these items. So I'm going to have some recommendations in the Amazon list. I'll have linked down in the description of this video, but I encourage you guys to check out webcams as your starting camera. Now, once you get your video figured out, the next thing you have to think about is lighting. Now, this is something that's often overlooked by people, but lighting is going to be very important for the look of your stream. In fact, you can take a really low budget camera and make it look amazing if you have the right lighting. Just like you can take a really great high budget camera and make it look pretty terrible if you have the wrong lighting. So I want to encourage you guys to check out some of the stuff I have in that Amazon link as well, but I'm going to put in a very cheap option for lighting, which includes just some daylight spectrum light bulbs and some of those old can lights that you can clamp onto things. That's what I started with, and honestly, they work great. You can bounce them off of a wall and you'll have really good even lighting to light up your stream and allow people to see your face. You can also go much higher quality than that, all the way to some of the Elgato key lights, which are what I'm using right now. And I didn't start out with those, like I said, but eventually I upgraded to them because there's a lot of cool features that they have available. And you can, turn them on and off with your Stream Deck, which we'll talk about here in a minute as well. But I encourage you guys to check out lighting and get something for your lighting, even if it's just putting in a daylight bulb into a lamp you have in the room and turning that lamp on so that it's shining on your face and allowing people to see you. That's going to be so much better than sitting there in a somewhat dark room and allowing your screens to light your face only. Now, the last piece of equipment that we're going to talk about is called an Elgato Stream Deck. And although this is not the first thing that you should buy when you're setting up a stream on Twitch, it is something that you're going to want to get pretty early on, because if you enjoy streaming even for just a little while, you're going to find out that having to hit a bunch of keybinds on your keyboard just to switch scenes on OBS from a chatting scene to a gaming scene, or to turn on certain sources within your OBS, which will, you'll learn more about as you watch that video I mentioned earlier. But the point is, it's going to be very cumbersome to try to use your keyboard to do all of that. A Stream Deck is a little box that has a bunch of buttons that can be programmed to do those things for you, so that you can press one button and have it do one action, or even multi-actions, which they have a feature called multi-actions. You press a button and it will do multiple different things all at once for you automatically. So a Stream Deck is going to be massively important for you to consider getting at some point in your streaming journey, as early as you possibly can. I will say that if you're getting into streaming, probably one of the best pieces of gear you can add to control your audio, to control your OBS, to control a bunch of different things would be the 8-button Stream Deck Plus that also has this touchscreen and the dials. Now, I use one of those and I've been using it for a little while. I love it. And I will say, because of the way that it's designed, you can not only, control your OBS scenes and sources and things like that, but it also comes with something called their Wavelink software, Elgato's Wavelink software. And that Wavelink software will give you the opportunity to control all of your audio from your USB microphone. It'll give you the opportunity to control like your video from your Elgato. If you get an Elgato face cam for your webcam or something like that, you can control all of that within that Stream Deck Plus. So my recommendation, if you can swing it price-wise, is to get a Stream Deck Plus. It might cost a little bit more than you're wanting to spend, but it will be worth it. I'll tell you that right now. You will not regret it. So that's my number one recommendation. After that, I recommend looking at the 15-button version. You could do the 6-button version, but I think oftentimes a lot of people will get the 6-button version and then later they'll end up getting a bigger version because they realize they need a lot more keys than 6 buttons. So that's my recommendation, Stream Deck Plus, and then the 15 key is my second recommendation after that. Now, that is the overview of the equipment that you're going to need for streaming at a base level. And hopefully me mentioning all these things will give you some really, really good ideas about things to go do more research on, because there is a lot of information about all this stuff. That was very brief, but we have to move into our next category, and that is online streaming tools. Now, there are 2 primary online streaming tools that you're going to choose from when you become a streamer. And the first one, and I'll show you what I'm talking about over here, is called Stream Elements, and the second one is called Stream Labs. Now, what these are, and I'll explain kind of the purpose on why you're going to have this. These are free platforms that you can sign up for through your Twitch account, and these are going to allow you to do things like alerts. They're going to allow you to keep a record of subs and bits and donations and things like that. But they're also going to allow you to do other fun things, like do giveaways in your chat, or to have chat commands and timers that show up to remind people to do different things. So this is what I mean by an online streaming tool. These are platforms for streamers to use. It also has like a Twitch chat bot, which will allow you to do commands in your chat, like exclamation point hype, and it will spam a whole bunch of hype emojis or whatever it is, right? So Stream Elements and Stream Labs are the 2 places that you want to look into. I will tell you right now, my favorite is Stream Elements. That's what I use, and overall, I feel like they have the best functionality and customization, but there are a lot of people that love Streamlabs. And in fact, I used Streamlabs before I used Stream Elements, and I switched over to Stream Elements at some point in my streaming journey. They're both going to be great though. So whichever one you look at, whichever one you like the most, pick one and stick with it. This is how you're going to not only set up your alerts and that sort of thing, your chat bot, your timers, but it's going to be a massive help to you moving forward in everything that you do in content creation. So pick one of these 2, make sure you have it, added so you can set your stream up the right way. Now, the next category is called content strategy, and I'm going to try to blast through this as quickly as I can. It's a lot to cover. I've done other YouTube videos on this stuff, so make sure you check those out. I'll have a playlist of my Twitch streaming advice at the end of this video, so you can go through there and see every video I've ever made talking about this stuff. But here's the overview. The first thing is you cannot just be a Twitch streamer. We talked about that at the beginning of this video. That is the absolute truth. You need to be a content creator if you want to take this seriously and grow. Now, if you're taking streaming seriously and you say, you know what, I'm ready to be a content creator, what does that mean? Here is what that entails. Not only are you going to stream on Twitch, but you're also going to create content on YouTube and on another social media platform. Now, here's how we break this down. Twitch is your live form of content. And in this case, if you're becoming a Twitch streamer, that's what you want to do. It's your primary form of content. But the problem with Twitch is that you're only producing content when you're live. Once you go offline, even though that VOD is there for a little while, or even though clips exist, it's going to be forgotten until the next time you're live. YouTube is for what we call evergreen content, content that will always exist. And if you do it the right way, will always be available to be found, to be searched, and for people to find out about you even when you're not live on Twitch, right? And so whenever you're live on Twitch, you're making content, people can come find you, they can follow, and they can get involved that way. Whenever you're not live, nothing's happening. But if you're on YouTube and you make evergreen content, now people can find you even when you're sleeping, right? Your content is working for you even when the video has been out for a while. After you put out a video, that video is there to work for you as a content creator. And if you do your videos the right way and you mention the fact that you're a streamer on Twitch, your videos can send people to your Twitch stream even when you're not live. So that is why YouTube is massively important. Now, the third social media platform that you're going to have is something that will allow you to have a direct connection with your community outside of your live streams and outside of your YouTube videos, where they can keep up with you, kind of see behind the scenes what's going on in your life, maybe send you some messages or things like that. And also places where you can post when you upload a YouTube video or when you are planning on going live on Twitch, right? And so my recommendations for this, my number one recommendation is Twitter. This is where a lot of streamers hang out. This is kind of the hub of most of streaming content creators. And it's also a great social media platform because it's very short little bits of information. You know, tweets aren't that long, but also on top of that, you can still post videos and you can still post pictures. So Twitter is kind of the best place, in my opinion, for your social media to exist outside of Twitch and YouTube. Facebook, I personally really just don't think is that great, and a lot of people don't use Facebook other than for their family and friends, so I would keep Facebook that way. But then also Instagram is another option. If you don't like Twitter, or you don't want to be on Twitter, Instagram is also a good option where you can upload a picture or upload a video and then give a little update about what's going on in your life. The beautiful thing about Twitter, though, is that you can send out a tweet that is only text, which means you don't have to always have a piece of content go along with what your thought or opinion or idea is that you're sharing to your community. That's why I think Twitter is a more powerful tool for this. And there are a lot more streamers, I think, that are on Twitter and using Twitter actively. And if you want to get involved in the Twitch community and ecosystem and in the streaming community in general, Twitter's the place you're going to want to be. Now, once you have your three picked out, let's say you do choose to go with Twitter, YouTube, and Twitch, right? Then you can always add other platforms in there. You can add TikTok, you can add Instagram if you're going with the Twitter route. You can add whatever else you enjoy using, and you can put content up on as many platforms as you possibly can. But having three primary platforms allows you to focus your attention on those platforms and not get spread too terribly thin. If you focus on every platform out there, you may not be able to post consistent content on all of them, or you may get so overwhelmed that you end up not posting on any of them. Now, the next thing that I want to mention is something that you're going to need to know going into streaming on Twitch, and that is the fact that short form content is blowing up, and it's kind of the king of content right now, especially if you want to grow quickly. If you put YouTube shorts up or you put up TikTok videos or both, you're going to find much quicker and easier growth on those types of content than you will on doing long form content on YouTube. But the caveat is long form content on YouTube is evergreen, which means that long form content is going to be always searchable and always available. Short form content is more about quick views, people finding it quickly, but before it's all over, it's going to be kind of lost in the mix. So I encourage you to do both, make short form and long form content, but understand that if you're looking for quick growth, YouTube Shorts and TikTok videos are probably going to be your absolute most effective and quickest way to get views for the content that you're creating. And YouTube Shorts right now are becoming super viable because they are going to be monetized soon, and a lot of other features are coming to YouTube Shorts, and you can also make YouTube Shorts out of your long form evergreen videos. So I highly recommend you look into YouTube Shorts as probably the number one, starting out, one of the number one things that you work on. You may also check out TikTok, but I think with the way that YouTube is going, Shorts may be the play moving forward, and that's what I put the most energy into. Now, the next thing you're going to need for your content strategy is a Discord account. And this is massively important because almost every gamer and streamer out there uses Discord for their voice communication. Whenever they play games with their friends, they're jumping into a Discord, voice call or something like that, and they're talking to each other through there rather than through the game because it's just way better quality. And you have a lot of options that go along with that as well. So on top of that, it's going to be a great place for a community. And in fact, if you're becoming a streamer on Twitch, not too long after you start streaming, you're probably going to want to start your own Discord server. Now, I have a ton of videos on getting started with Discord and setting up a server and things like that. So if you're interested in doing that, you can check out this playlist that's going to pop up right up here. There's a bunch of Discord information. I highly recommend you check that out. But if nothing else, at least start a Discord account, even if you don't start your own server. That way you can jump into other servers and you can play with people, you can talk to people, be a part of communities, and get involved on Discord. That's going to be a massive, massive, massive part of getting involved in the streaming community as a whole, and the gaming community as well, if you get into streaming for gaming. Now, the last subject that I want to talk about is your schedule. And this is an entire category because there's a few different things that we're going to talk about under this category. The first one is that you have to treat streaming like a job if you want it to succeed. And what I mean by that is you're not streaming 40 hours a week or that sort of thing to start out. But what you are doing is being as serious about streaming as you would be about having a job somewhere. If you say you're going to go live at a certain time, you need to be live at that time, or at least as close to that time as you possibly can be, okay? And it's setting up a schedule in general, even though it might not seem like that important of a thing, it is actually the single biggest difference between why I was able to go full time with content creation and why all the years prior to that, I was never able to. When I set up a schedule on my Twitch stream, my wife finally convinced me to have a schedule on Twitch. I used to just kind of stream whenever, and I would never see any growth, never see the same people around hardly, and my viewership was super stagnant and very low. But once I set a schedule, I started noticing that the same people were coming back to the stream. Once I put that out there and said, hey, I'm going to stream this time, and this time throughout the week, the same people would come back and hang out with us. The community started growing little by little. We actually had followers coming in that would return later. The schedule was one of the biggest things that I was missing because people need to know when to show up to your stream. And if they don't know when to show up, or they do show up and then you don't go live the entire day, they will never know when to rely on you or when to count on you to be there, right? So you got to set a schedule. Now, I said before, and I'll say it again, you don't have to stream 40 hours a week, right? You can set a schedule that works best for you, and you need to initially be honest with yourself and say, what can I do consistently every week? 100% guaranteed. If you can only stream twice a week, stream twice a week. Don't tell people you're going to be live 4 times a week if you can only be live for sure twice a week. And so tell people I can be live these 2 days 100%, and then these other 2 days I'm going to try to go live when I can. I'll make sure I update you guys on Discord and on Twitter, right? But keep people up to date on what you're doing. Twitch also has an awesome, amazing schedule that they've added to the platform, so you can actually set your schedule and change your schedule, and people can go in and look at it. So make sure you're utilizing the Twitch schedule feature within your Twitch account, but set that schedule and keep it, right? Whatever you can do, make sure that you put that down and be realistic with yourself. Now, the next thing I want to recommend when you're setting up a schedule is try to set up a schedule where you can stream for a minimum of 3 hours per stream. If you stream for less than that, you try to go live and stream for an hour, hour and a half, that's not a lot of time for people to come by the stream, figure out that you're live, kind of get integrated in what's going on. You know, quick streams don't really go as well as if you have a longer session. So 3 hours is basically kind of the sweet spot when you get into, okay, enough time has gone by where people have been able to find you, maybe a couple new followers came in, and you've been able to set up a bit of content and build a story around what you're doing for the day. I recommend 3 hours, no less. If you can only stream 2 hours in a stream, go for it. Whatever you can actually do with your schedule, it's better to stream than to not stream at all. But if you can fit in a stream or two a week that is 3 hours minimum, or you can make every stream you do at least 3 hours, that's going to be the best opportunity you're going to have to notice new people coming in and to start to establish yourself on Twitch as a streamer, and to have people see you time and time again in whatever category that you're in, whatever game you're playing or whatever it is that you're doing. So 3 hours minimum, set schedule, set the expectation, and keep it. Treat it like a job. Now that we've covered all of that, you are ready to start streaming. Once you get all these things set up and ready to go, you can hit the go live button in OBS and do your very first stream. But a couple of things that I want to leave you with before we go. Remember that your first streams are not going to be perfect. No matter how much time you put in, no matter how much preparation time that you spend trying to get things just perfect and set to go, there are going to be issues. Don't be afraid to jump into it and to fail and to have to figure things out and to troubleshoot, okay? Give yourself an opportunity to learn. The other thing I want to tell you is that you need to manage your expectations here really well and understand that streaming is hard. Okay, and it's going to take a while, not only for streaming, but also your YouTube channel and your Twitter and everything else. All of your forms of content are going to take a while to pick up. But the more content you put out there, the more creative you try to get, the more unique you try to get and put things out there that nobody else is doing, that's going to give you the best chance to find traction, to find growth, and to succeed. So I know it was a lot, but hopefully this information has been helpful for you. If you're getting into streaming or you're interested in streaming, this gives you kind of the base level overview on what you need to know going into the streaming journey. If you like this video, please hit that like button for me. It helps get this video out to more people, and we can help more and more people discover a new passion, hobby, or even a full-time career for them by hitting that like button. So help me do that. And also, if you like this channel and you want to see more content like this, hit that subscribe button and the notification bell for me. I would really appreciate that as well. Like I've mentioned earlier in this video, I do also stream on Twitch. So if you want to come hang out with us over on Twitch, we would love to have you. I play games over there, hang out with the community, and I'll answer any question you have about this video or other videos that I've done. So swing on by my Twitch stream. It would be great to have you with us. Also, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments of this video. I'll try to go through and answer as many as I can. And let me know what you think. Is this stuff that you already knew? Is it new stuff to you? Did it help you out? Let me know. Give me a heads up. And if you'd like to see me make a specific video about any of this stuff that I covered, let me know about that also. I also want to invite you guys to join our Discord at discord.gg/flock. We would love to have you in the community with us. We have a great community over there of streamers, gamers, and content creators. So jump on into our Discord. Lastly, you can find me on all the social media platforms you see down here. Twitter's the place I hang out the most, so hit me up on there. You can send me a tweet, and I'll tweet back at you. Let me know what your thoughts are. But with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Links for everything that we've talked about, all the gear, everything that we've discussed in this video will be down in the description, so don't miss out on those. But until the next video, you guys, as always, rock on, peace out, God bless. And last but not least, cacao! Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Come here. Let's go. Let's go. The dots. 2v1, baby. Let's go.